Welcome back, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss the secret of Obelia, a beautiful marine hydrozoan that reveals one of the nature's most interesting biological phenomena, that is metagenesis. In this class, we will uncover how Obelia alternates between two distinct forms, the asexual fixed polypoid colony and the sexual free-swimming Medusoid stage, a process known as alternation of generations. You will also learn about its life cycle, development and polymorphism, where different zooids perform specialized functions for survival. By the end of this class, you will understand how Obelia perfectly demonstrates the rhythmic alternation between form and functions in animal kingdom, making a true marvel of evolutionary biology. Introduction. Obelia is basically a marine colonial trimorphic hydrozoan, which means it shows three distinct forms in its life cycle: the polyform, the blastostyle, and medusa. It is commonly found in the Atlantic and Pacific coastal waters. The delicate branched colony of Obelia looks like a whitish or light brownish fur and is found attached to rocks, shells, stones, or seaweeds. The polyp colony is the asexual stage, while the medusa is the sexual bell-shaped stage that produces gametes, whether it is palms or ova, which are released into the surrounding water. Metagenesis or alternation of generation. The term alternation of generations or metagenesis usually refers to the life cycle where two different forms alternate, one reproduces asexually and the other one sexually. In plants, for example, a diploid sporophyte alternates with a haploid gametophyte. The sporophyte produces spores by meiosis, and these spores grow into gametophytes, which then produce gametes by means of mitotic cell division. The fusion of the male and female gametes forms a zygote, which develops again into a diploid sporophyte, completing the life cycle of Obelia. However, in Obelia, the alternation is a little different. It occurs between two diploid forms, not diploid and haploid. That's why the phenomena is called metagenesis and is not true alternation of generation. This is the diagram showing the blastostyle stage or the polyp stage of the Obelia. Life history of Obelia. The first event is the fertilization, which usually takes place in open sea water, where the male and female medusa releases their gametes respectively, such as sperm and ovum. Sometimes water currents help sperms reach the female medusa and fertilize the eggs internally. After releasing gametes, the parent medusa dies. The development, the zygote undergoes holoblastic or complete and equal cleavage, forming a blastula with a central cavity or blastocele. Some cells migrate inward, filling the blastocele and forming a solid gastrula or stereogastrula. The outer cells form the ectoderm and the inner cells form the endoderm. The gastrula then elongates and the ectodermal cells become ciliated, forming a planula larva. Later, a cavity called enteron appears within the endoderm and the larva becomes a two-layered structure. Planula larva. The planula swims freely for some time, then settles on a hard surface by its broader end. The free end develops a mouth, manubrium, and a ring of tentacles, forming a small polyp or hydrula stage. From the base of the hydrula grows a hydrorhiza, which gives rise to a branched Obelia colony by means of budding. Thus, the planula larva helps in dispersal, spreading the species over a wide area. This is the diagram showing the life cycle of Obelia. Alternation of generations or metagenesis in Obelia. In Obelia, there are two stages alternate regularly. That is, first one is the polypoid generation or the asexual stage. It is the fixed branching colony consists of feeding polyps and reproductive blastostyles. Blastostyles produce medusa buds asexually. Second one is the Medusoid generation, which is the sexual stage. The free-swimming medusa are bell-shaped and produce gametes. After fertilization, the zygote gives rise to a new polypoid colony. Thus, the asexual polypoid generation alternates with the sexual Medusoid generation, a process called metagenesis. However, this is not a true alternation of generations like in plants, because both the polyp and medusa stage are diploid. The medusa are not formed directly from the zygote but by budding from the blastostyle stage. The gonads of the medusa originate from the ectoderm of the blastostyle but not within the medusa itself. Therefore, to describe this alternation of generations between two diploid stages, biologists prefer the term metagenesis instead of alternation of generations. Now we need to know what are the differences between alternation of generations and metagenesis. First of all, the definition: alternation of generation refers to a life cycle that alternates between multiple haploid or gametophyte and multicellular diploid or sporophytic stage. This is commonly observed in plants like algae and some fungi. Metagenesis specifically involves a cycle of asexual and sexual reproduction without the clear distinction of haploid and diploid generations typically found in certain animals and simpler life forms. The second one is the generational forms. In alternation of generations, both haploid and diploid generations are distinct and multicellular, but in case of metagenesis, the forms can vary widely and often one generation is more complex while the other one is simpler, that is asexual. Reproductive strategies: alternation of generations involve the production of gametes or haploid that fuse to form diploid zygote, which grows into the sporophyte producing spores. Metagenesis can involve asexual forms that may bud off new individuals, while the sexual phase may produce gametes leading to the next generation. So organisms include alternation of generations, which is commonly found in plants like ferns and mosses and some algae. Metagenesis is basically often observed in certain marine invertebrates like jellyfish and some parasitic organisms like flatworms. So both the process of alternation of generation and metagenesis showcase the incredible adaptability and complexity of life cycles in different organisms, allowing them to thrive in various environments. So now, what is polymorphism in Obelia? Obelia exhibits polymorphism. We have already mentioned it, showing three types of individuals or zooids like polyps or gastrozooids for feeding purpose, blastostyles or gonozoids for budding medusa, and medusa are responsible for sexual reproduction and gamete dispersal. Conclusion: the life cycle of Obelia clearly shows metagenesis, a regular alternation between a fixed asexual polypoid colony and a free-swimming sexual medusoid form. The Planula larvae here, the Planula stage, helps in dispersal, ensuring that the species spreads over a wide area and prevents overcrowding. Thus, through metagenesis, Obelia successfully maintains its population and continues its existence in marine habitats. So, my dear students, if you enjoyed this class, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more interesting biology lessons. Till then, keep exploring, keep learning and stay curious. Thank you.